Tara looks at me with more pride than a rainbow flag. Ah, I see what you did there. Hey internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to Heart of the Woods. So we are finally going into the woods and let's see if Morgan can actually show us what she has seen. We head into the appointed meeting spot, right in the turn of the hour. Even during the day, the forest felt hostile and foreign, but now, at night, it's downright scary. Each rattle of the branch is a demon's footsteps. Every gust of wind is a monster's breath. I stand close to Tara, treading on the backs of her feet several times. I think this is supposed to be the place. I look around the area. It's indistinguishable from the rest of the woods. My only comfort is the tiny pinprick of light that represses our cabin back to the forest's edge. A feeling of dread creeps up its way in my spine. What if this is a trap? Or a setup? Maybe Morgan has just lured us out here in the middle of nowhere and is waiting out of sight with a knife in hand or something. You know, that is always a possibility. Cause like, some people are like, you hear about these stories like they're fans, but they're like obsessive fans, so I wouldn't blame Mads for thinking, hey, we might die out here. Consider we have traveled thousands of kilometers to get here. If this was a trick of we fell for it hard. Maybe we're early? I know we're not. Tara sweeps the flashlight around the illuminating a few identical trees before the light's beam peers off into oblivion. Maybe we should go back. The light presses over Morgan, suddenly metering away from us. Ah! Tara jolts backwards, crashing into me. The flashlight plummets onto the ground, bouncing once before stopping. I kept my balance, barely, and catch Tara's arm to stop her from falling. Are you okay? Short term, yeah, but I think I just lost 10 years. What about you, Mads? I'm fine. What on earth were you doing? Me? I was waiting for you. Where? Didn't you hear us? Just over there. Sorry, I had headphones in and missed you. Okay? You were just standing in the dark, in the forest, wearing headphones? Yes. Why? At a loss for words, I can only shrug. Does hanging out alone in the dark in the middle of nowhere not register as weird for Morgan? She stoops down and retrieves the flashlight from the snow. Drying it with her sleeve, she brushes off the snow the same way she brushes up Morgan's actions. Anyway, it's all good. What now? Morgan turns to face the trees, shining her flashlight across them. I thought we could walk around a little. It might help you get a better feel for the area. Behind Morgan's back, Tara and I exchange a look of concern. Tara gives me the slightest of shrugs. I'm still reluctant, but I nod. If Morgan's planning to kill us, it's not like it'll make a difference whether she does it here or in the forest. And I'm pretty sure she's not a murderer anyway. Sure, lead on! Morgan sits up without another word, and we just follow just a couple paces back. Are we going somewhere in particular? Not really. I doubt you want to go far this late at night, right? Right. That's fine. We'll stick to the edge then. As we walk, Morgan keeps her flashlight pointed straight ahead in the direction that we're going. Tara, on the other hand, swings her around, looking up at the trees down into the abyss. She and I only brought one flashlight with us. The spare is sitting on one of the suitcases back in the cabin. I regret leaving it behind, just on the off chance that we somehow get separated. So, did you learn anything useful today? Not really. We ran around town some, but most people didn't want to talk. Yeah. How did you know? That's how it is around here. People are mistrustful. I was kind of surprised of that. Figure with how out of the way it is here that we might be, I don't know, treated like celebrities. Hey now, don't project. But something like that. It's more like they isolate themselves by choice. We have internet and TV. It's just that lots of people choose not to use them. I'm guessing they probably had some not so nice things to say about me too, right? Neither Tara and I respond. Our silence lasts a beat long. It's okay, I'm used to it. You don't have to pretend or anything. Light shines on our faces as Morgan turns around, half smiling. Hey, you two don't need another assistant back where you live or anything, right? Ah! My mouth flops like a fish while I try to think of a diplomatic response, but then Morgan laughs and faces forward again. Just kidding. This got kind of awkward, I'm not gonna lie. This is really awkward. We trek on in an awkward silence. I'm not even sure what we're supposed to be doing or looking for. We're just wandering in the dark. Saying Morgan knows how to get back to the cabin. It's cold and my feet are sore, and once again I'm regretting coming to Eysenfeld. I gently tug on Tara's sleeve right by her elbow. When she looks at me, I silently gesture back towards where we came from and shrug, hoping she'll get the message. Now? She mouths back, I nod. She gives me a worried look over towards Morgan, who's now slightly farther away. Tara holds up 5 fingers, 5 more minutes. Sighing, I nod again. We hurry up and catch up back with Morgan. Something wrong? Oh no, Maddie, had something in her shoe. Oh. It's hard to tell if she buys it. I wouldn't. Mentally, I'm counting backwards from 5 minutes, already imagining the comfort of my bed and blanket back at the cabin. How I'm going to survive this whole month of this is an issue for future me to worry about. I got lost in this part of our forest once. 3 minutes and 32 seconds. 3 minutes and 31 seconds. Don't worry though, I know my way around. Yeah, they mentioned something about that. I step on Tara's foot again, this time totally on purpose. I thought they might. Her tone is still completely nonchalant. At least Morgan seems impossible to offend. It's too bad. It looks like it's going to snow tonight. We probably shouldn't stay out late. Thank God. Yeah, that's too bad. I'm sorry this was disappointing. I had hoped there would be more to see. What exactly were you expecting? It's the middle of the night. Come on, Mads. It's about the atmosphere. It's way spookier out here when it's dark. I know, that's half the problem. We can turn back now if you like. Before I can agree, Tara shakes her head. Nah, let's give it a couple more minutes. You came all the way here for us after all. I glare at Tara, but I think she missed it. I lost track of my countdown too. Whatever. The small apologetic smile that I barely noticed does little to assuage my discomfort. They have to find something out here, you know what I mean? There's a reason why she's bringing us out here. She mentioned lights, so I'm expecting at least something like that. We trapeze aimlessly through the snow for a while longer. I stare at my feet more than at the path ahead, and simply follow in the footprints left behind in the other two. So I nearly slam into Tara, who's to come to complete halt again. What now? I saw something! You did? Tara, stop messing around, let's... No! I mean it! I saw something! I shut up. I can tell by her tone that she's serious. She saw something, or at least she thinks she did. The 3 of us turn to face the way she is. It's even deeper into the forest, barely lit by the moon. There was a light! Someone else walking around? There shouldn't be anyone out at this time of night. It's dangerous to be in the woods once it gets late. I have to not point out the obvious hypocrisy. It was probably moonlight or something. It wasn't the moon, Maddie! There's something out here! Both of them point their flashlights in the direction of Tara's looking. Aside from more trees, there's nothing to be seen. Tara. Maddie! She grins. This is what we're here for, come on! Okay, hopefully there's something there! Tara breaks into a run, leaving Morgan and I behind in surprise. We exchange a look before Morgan runs off after her. I have no choice but to go too. The regret is almost instant. Cold knives pierce my lungs with each heavy breath. I'm not in the best shape to begin with, and the snow and boots didn't make things easier. The only consolation is that we're running in a straight line, so it won't be hard to follow our path back. Ever so often we pause to catch our breath. The pace is catching up to Tara too, who has to keep fighting a smile on her. Morgan seems unfazed by all of it. I'm about 3 seconds away from demanding that we give up when we see it. Hey, there's a light there! But it doesn't look like it's like in the forest like someone's holding it. It looks like it's just floating. Huh. Way off in the distance, too far to identify with the source, is a light. It sparkles and glimmers like a star that fell to earth. I fall silent, the words stolen from my mouth. Then Tara points, stating that we already know. There it is! Buoyed by her second wind, Tara runs off again, this time Morgan and I close behind. We follow the light, which sometimes blinks out and soon reappears. Wait, do we not have our camera so we can like record this? I'm too focused on not slipping and falling to give too much thought as to the source. There's no telling how long or how far we've been going. Somehow, the light never seems to get any closer or farther away. It's like it's running from us. Hey, wait up! Tara yells out into the darkness. If whatever it is can understand her, it ignores her. Running is quickly becoming difficult, my lungs burn from the cold, and my breathing turns ragged after barely a minute. Tara pulls off further and further ahead from Morgan and me, her one-track mind fixated on the light. After a bit longer, I hit my limit, and my pace slows back to a walk and then stop. I fold my hands onto my knees and gasp for breath. Morgan crunches to a stop just ahead too, turning back towards me. Are you alright? I try to respond, but I'm breathing too heavily to be able to just talk. I just wave my hand gesturing for Morgan to go ahead without me, but she doesn't. Are you sure? I force myself to stand and nod. I'm fine. In the murk, Tara becomes in disembodied light herself, only the flashlight glow visible. I watch it bounce to a halt and then slowly make its way back towards us. You guys give up too easily. How are you not dead? I haven't seen you run in years. That's because you never hit the gym with me. I don't know if she's joking or not. I'm too worn out to care. So, what was that thing? Do you think it was our forest spirit? Morgan's eyes widen. You believe me? Tara shrugs. I'm considering it at least. I mean, what else could it have been? Fairies. Morgan says it very nonchalantly. I side-eyed Tara, who is very interested in her boots. The forest spirit doesn't really make a light of that. At least, not that I'm aware of. Right, that makes sense. Doesn't it, Mads? It was probably someone from the village. But as I say it, I know how unlikely that is. The way that the light seemed to always maintain a precise distance was unnatural. I can feel the seeds of doubt being sown in my heart. But it was definitely strange. Tara looks at me with more pride than a rainbow flag. I see what you did there. Hey, holy shit! That's practically canon in Maddie terms. I roll my eyes, but it's practically just for show. I'm curious at the very least. I wouldn't call myself a believer as much as Tara wishes. But there are two strange things so far, which is two more than I expected when I boarded on the train out here. It was strange. It was as much as a yawn overtakes me in the middle of my speaking. It doesn't help in the pain in my lungs. Oh, I guess it's past your bedtime, huh? I kick some snow at her and it bounces uselessly off her pants. With the way that we've been bantering with each other, it really does feel like a bit more like old times. Make that the three strange things on this trip so far. We should be heading back anyway. We can't go much further in before. I'd be lost too. You still know where we are? Yes, of course. We'd be in trouble if not. She has a point. I got caught up in chasing after the light that I lost track of what direction we'd come from. I'll show you around more tomorrow. There's something you might like to see. Yeah? What is it? A surprise. We'll go tomorrow before it gets dark. It's a bit of a walk. Does it have to do with whatever that light was? I have no idea. It's possible. Story of my life! Okay, well, we can call it quits for tonight and pick up back tomorrow? Yeah, I guess. That's fine by me. Great! She hops forward, then pauses. Guess you ought to lead the way. Morgan smiles and just does that. Well, I mean, we saw something, and I'm glad that Maddie's kind of, like, believing it now. She's kind of like me, like, you need proof, and then she'll believe it, in terms of, like, seeing something, like, supernatural, like a fairy, like Morgan claims it to be. But if something, like, spooky as in ghosts and stuff, I would totally believe it. It takes us only 15 minutes or so to reach the cabin. We must have added a lot of time on our trip with all the wandering we did. Morgan bids us farewell at the door, which I barely returned before stumbling inside. I'm halfway out of my boots by the time Tara's inside. Guess you're not staying up late then. I'm out like a light the second I hit the bed. Tara grins, just briefly. Right. My hand is on the doorknob when Tara clears her throat. Hey, thanks for, chasing after that thing. I appreciate you playing along. My hand lingers on the door, poised to turn. Yeah, of course. Let's see what we find tomorrow. Right. Yeah, right. Good night. Night. I quickly step in, then shut my bedroom door before Tara can say anything else. As I switch the lights off and crawl into bed, I remember the end of the train right here. I felt the same just now, standing there not knowing what to say. It would be so easy. I banish those thoughts from my mind and wrench my eyes shut. There will be time to worry about it tomorrow. I have time to think. We have a month. I guess, like, if she wants to, like, say, like, never mind, I'm not going to school, I'm gonna work with you on YouTube channel. And she's still, like, debating whether or not this is the right decision or not. As I slowly drift off to sleep, the exhaustion that I feel winning over the stress. The last thoughts I have of dancing lights in the snow. We start to fall into a bit of a routine. Every day, Tara and I would get up and explore Eysenfeld or the surrounding area a bit. We never go too far into the forest, but just enough to set up some dramatic camera angles or to film some monologue segments for Tara. Once Morgan is done with the work, she'll join us and show us around. Sometimes she brings her cat with her. Surprise, surprise, it still hasn't said a word. She keeps promising it eventually will, though. Ever since that night we saw the lights in the trees, we hope for an encounter something equally mysterious or interesting. No such luck, though. Any sort of hope or excitement that I had, any bit of belief that I allowed myself to build up, has been squashed back down to a resigned indifference, my trademark, I know. It took about a week of this before Morgan asked us to wait at her cabin, saying she was finally ready to show us that thing she mentioned. She still wasn't any more forthcoming with what it was, but over the week we know Morgan, I got a little more comfortable with the idea. If she was going to leave us in the shallow grave or something, she had plenty of opportunities to do that already. Okay, well, I mean, at least we're comfortable that she's not gonna murder us or anything. The heavy clouds overhead promise a darker night than the past few, and probably heavier snowfall. We won't be able to stay out very late. Even with Morgan's guidance, the possibility of being caught in the snowstorm is hard to ignore. Tara paces back and forth outside as I linger in the doorway, trying to enjoy the warmth from the cabin for as long as I can. Finally, a fashionable 15 minutes late, I spot Morgan heading down the trail from the village towards us. Tara zips off into interceptor, and the two of them approach together. Hey, sorry I'm late. Work was a little busy tonight. No worries. Well, that answers one of the myths of the Eysenfeld that I was curious about, whether or not anyone has actually ever shopped at Morgan's store. Tara bounces around between the two of us, raring to get going. Morgan smiles approvingly at her. So, you said you had something special planned for tonight, right? She spent the whole day trying to guess what it is. I think I narrowed it down. It's either Crashed UFO, or the Fountain of Youth, or Elvis. Those are the ones you narrowed it down to? Elvis! Someday, Mads, it's gonna be Elvis, and you're gonna wish you believed me. I face Morgan, pointedly turning my back to Tara. Anyway, we're ready to go if you are. Do you both have flashlights? We're going to be heading deeper into the woods this time. We both hold up our lights in unison. After our first venture into the forest together, there's no way I'm going without each of us having a flashlight. Just having one makes me feel more self-reliant. It helps suppress my anxiety a little. Just a little. Great, follow me. We circle back around the cabin and head into the woods. I've been waiting to show you two this since you got here. You're gonna love it. Tara starts to vibrate again, clearly soaking up the suspense. As much as I hate to admit it, she's got me pretty curious. I'm not sure what she could be keeping a secret out here and for so long. This isn't going to be dangerous or anything, right? Probably not. I like those odds. Probably not. We set off fairly a brisk pace. Tara makes it a point to walk right beside Morgan's side, taking short and hurried strides. If she doesn't find out where we're going soon, I'm pretty sure she might actually explode. Okay, I'm gonna keep guessing. Ancient graveyard? Fairy circle? Satanic ritual? Sasquatch den? Close. It's a church. Tara stops dead in her tracks. Wait, a church? Was Maddie right when she said you were gonna try to get us to join a cult? I never said that. I might have said that. Despite our antics, Morgan never stops or slows down. Nothing like that. I promise. It's really old. Older than any of the buildings you've seen in Eysenfeld. The people who built it are ancestors of the residents today. I guess they're what you would consider pagans. They worship the gods of the forest. Oh, yeah. Okay. That kind of makes sense. I guess they would be pagans. I don't know exactly what the official term would be, but there are a lot of cultures, especially in Europe, that believe in gods in the forest, fairy gods, stuff like that. I know a lot of them are from Scotland. I do know that. In Ireland too. So I don't know exactly where this village is, but I do know it's in Europe, so that kind of helps set the mood. Whoa! I expected more to the story, but then it seems like Morgan's stopping point for now. She focuses on the path instead, swinging her lantern around in an arc as she looks for whatever it is that's telling her where to go. Every single tree around me is identical, but I guess one of them is a little more special than the rest. When she sees whichever one that is, she starts to lead us on again. My glasses start fogging up a bit more as I walk. I hate that feeling. The struggle of wearing glasses and then it starts fogging up because of the weather. I should have insisted that Tara layered up a bit more. I'd be a pretty crappy friend if I let her freeze to death out here. So, to summarize, your great-great-whatevers and the rest of the villagers built an old church out in the forest to worship a giant forest spirit. That's what we're going to see, right? Right. Have I mentioned that this is going to be the best episode of the show ever? Morgan's got Tara hanging on her by every word. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm glad she's having a good time at least. No thanks to me. You said it's older than the rest of the village. Do you know about how old? Centuries at least. I don't know how many. I've done some research on the history of Eysenfeld, but none of the books really mention it. How'd you learn about it then? A lot of it comes from old journals or other documents left behind by the people who used to live here. Parts of it passed down as family legends too. I'd imagine the image of Evelyn and Morgan sitting cozily by the fire while Evelyn tells stories is one that I can't imagine actually happened. I'm not going to pry into details of that though. You think we could take a look at those journals sometimes? Maybe we could show them off to the show, authentic first-hand accounts or something like that. For some reason, now Morgan stops, looking ponderous. I also realize that it's starting to snow, just barely, but enough to make me bite my lip in watching the sky. I'd be happy to show you. Score! You're seriously the best. Like, thanks for doing all of this. It's nothing really. Don't all your hosts do the same? A lot of them only stick around for the first day or two. Then once they realize there's a lot of filming and setting up behind the scenes, they get bored. For all her issues, I can't deny that Morgan's been much more gracious and helpful host than you're used to. Well, that's good, right? And it's true, people don't realize how, like, it's not the hardest job in the world to be, like, a YouTuber and whatever, but it is tedious. There's a lot of things you have to set up before you can record a video. Like this one right now, I have to do a lot of testing and setting up before I actually play the game, which is hella annoying. We walk in the silence for a bit. All the while, the snow continues to fall, getting heavier and heavier. At first I try to ignore it, but it's hard. Like always, it seems it'll fall onto me, the responsible one. Hey Morgan, are you sure it's safe to keep going? It's starting to snow pretty hard. Both of them look up, as if they hadn't noticed. Oh, you're right. Now it's Morgan who turns around and looks back at the way we came. I can practically hear the gears turning in her head. Tara watches, looking anxious. Oh, so she only worries if Morgan starts to look uncomfortable. It's going to get pretty bad soon, she says in a matter-of-factly that the first of the severity of her words don't register. Then every single alarm bell in my head starts ringing. What? How soon is pretty soon? And how bad? I'd say within the next half hour. Those clouds don't look so good. Oh great, we're gonna get stuck in the forest! That's an understatement. They seem to be moving almost impossibly fast. Just like that, the weather has gone from light snow to the start of a blizzard. She did mention that freak storms happen in the village once in a while, right? She said that in the beginning. We need to turn back to the cabin. I take a couple of steps, but the fresh snow has made it harder to walk. Even the trail that we just left behind is partly obscured. We're getting closer to the church than the cabin. I think we should go there and wait it out. Wait it out? What if it just doesn't pass by? What if we're stuck here for days? It's better than being dead, you know! I turn to her in disbelief. No shit it is! Morgan's wringing her hands, looking genuinely distressed. I don't know what's going on. I don't think it was... Once again, she looks back at the direction we came from, lost in thought. We're just wasting time by standing here, are you know? Morgan said we should go to the church, and she's the expert. I'm loath to call her an expert at this point, but Tara's right, and we don't have the time to spare. We're definitely in a dire straits if she's the one being the voice of reason. Fine, let's get going then. We don't waste any more energy on talking, we just follow Morgan as closely as we can. The light from her bounces in the wind, reminiscing of the light we followed just a few short days ago. I follow it, using it a beacon, since it's easier to just keep track of than Morgan herself. I bury my face into my scarf as much as I can, feeling the wind push against me and making it harder to walk. By now, oh no, the snow's getting worse! By now, the world around us is starting to grow more and more blurry. It'll be white out before long. My heart beats hard in my chest and my anxiety starts to skyrocket. We keep walking, huddling closer together as we press on. Tara keeps a brave face, but she shudders more with each step. Morgan and I push a little closer to her, hoping to help her shield from the wind as much as we can. When we get back, if we get back, I'm not letting her take another step outside until she agrees to wearing something warmer. After for what it feels like years, we come to a stop. My legs are leaden with an effort marching through the snow. I'm afraid that Morgan's going to say that we're lost. Then I realize that we've arrived. Just ahead is a huge stone building standing tall. For its supposed age, it looks remarkably intact. The howling winds buffet it. But from here, it looks indefinitely safer than being stuck out here. A pair of massive wooden doors loom before us. Just give me 1 second, I'll get this open. She grabs a hold of the door and starts to pull. The freezing wind works against her, and for a tense moment I worry that she wouldn't be able to open them. But with a creak that's audible even in this weather, they slide open and let us in. After you. We don't even need telling twice. Tara and I hurry inside, Morgan letting the door slam shut behind her as she follows suit. The first thing that strikes me is the temperature. An old stone building in the middle of a blizzard should be frigid, but it's not. In fact, it's almost warm. Whoa. Mads, we hit the jackpot! Her shout reverberates around the massive chamber, leaving a faint echo in its wake. When Morgan said a church, I figured it would be some wooden shack with a tackled-on steeple, but this is a full-on church, like legit, with even a stained glass window and everything. Dang. Tara's flashlight beams densely wildly on the walls as she spins in circles, trying to take in every last detail all at once. This is nothing short of incredible. I let my life drift as well, but slowly enough that I can actually take in the time to process what I'm seeing. The whole interior is remarkably well preserved. A few broken pews, a couple pieces of collapsed stone, and a layer of dust on nearly every surface are the only things that make this place seem anything less than brand new. Looking closer at the building itself, I can see various flourishes and designs decorating the walls and railings. Whoever built this place, they built it with a labor of love. The centerpiece is massive, stained glass window that dominates the center of the far wall. Its brilliant colors from an intricate pattern. I make my way over to Morgan, who is currently watching. Tara darts around the building with a small, satisfied smile. It dissipates as I approach. Even though I'm relieved to be out of the storm, I can't believe we ended up in this situation in the first place. Before I can say anything, though, she beats me to it. I'm really sorry about this, I truly am. If I had thought the weather would turn so foul, I would never suggest coming out here. The last thing I want to do is place you and Tara in danger. I just wanted to show you two something tangible, something different. I swallow my harsh words. Chastising her wouldn't do us any good. Plus, she's right that the weather changed way faster than I would have expected or even thought possible. So I rub my shoulders, trying to massage some warmth back into them. Don't apologize yet. There's still plenty of time for us to die of starvation or something like that. I think it's more likely that we'll die of exposure first. Well, that's assuring. Suddenly, a beam of light sweeps across my face. It comes from Tara on the other side of the building. Hey! Come check out these books! Morgan and I start to head over. By the way, how do you keep so warm in here? I was looking for a heater or something, but I couldn't find one. It's magic, I think. You know what? I'm not even gonna argue. Tara's waiting excitedly next to a stack of books. That's probably a first. Check it out! A wooden shelf wrapped in the damage beyond repair, but have still retained their shape pretty well. The book that lined them are in similar condition. When I remove one, its soft cover is cold and rigid into illegibility. But flipping through the pages, a few of them still readable, or at least would be if I could understand the language. Tell me these aren't filled with ancient incantations or something? These aren't filled with ancient incantations. She holds up the book to her face and blows a puff of air towards me, filling my face with dust. I wrinkle my nose, coughing and spitting. Hey, what the hell? You don't know what's floating around in here? You're literally the only person alive who could be haunted in a church and not care at all. She never said it was haunted, you know, and I'm sorry that I'm still a bit too shaken up over, almost dying in a snowstorm. Psh, we were never in any real danger. I'm sure. Isn't that right, Morgan? Actually, I wasn't sure we were going to make it here. Tara's eyes widen, the reality of the situation hitting her at last. Then she grins. That makes us even more badass story for the vlog. Mads, you have to go hard in the wind sound effects. Maybe we should set the camera outside to get some footage of the blizzard. She hurried over to where I abandoned the camera on the pews and picks it up, dancing around as she frames mock shots. I open my mouth to tell her how dumb it is when a trickle of dust spirals past me. The whole church shakes with a slight tremor, and more dust dissipates. Earthquake? What the hell? What is happening? That would be the icing on the cake. It would also be horrifically ironic if we survived the blizzard and only died from a freak earthquake. Something tells me that's not what it is, though. Okay, there's another tremor, slightly stronger than this time, and with it a distant boom, like someone shooting a cannon in the forest. There's three of us exchanging a glance silently. For once, even Tara is silent. Boom. The stained glass window rattles. I hear Morgan suck in a breath. When I look at her, her eyes wide and confused. What the hell's happening? The thunderous sound is getting closer. There's another sound, a blistering crack that I recognize as a tree splintering. No winds, no matter how strong, should be able to do that. Wordlessly, Tara heads over to the front doors. Though my first instinct is to call her back is what I hope is safely. I find myself more curious than afraid. I have to know what it is. I have to see it. Morgan lingers behind us, unsure of what to say or do. Tara reaches for the door and presses her shoulder against it. She pushes the door open, just a crack, or at least she tries to, but the terrifying wind catches and rips the door all the way open as if presenting the scene before us. I struggle to comprehend what I'm seeing. Taller than the trees, stands what I can only describe as a monster. What? Whoa, there's actually something out here! Whoa, this is cool! Two enormous luminous red eyes peer out across the black expanse of the night. Neither the howling wind nor the biting storm seems to affect it at all. Oh my god! That's impossible! This can't be happening! This can't be real! My legs are about to collapse under me. My heart drops like a rock in my chest, and every heartbeat sends a rush of blood through my body, so strong that it drowns out the cacophonous storm. Tara fumbles with the camera, her hands shaking violently, cursing, trembling. She struggles to lift it up to her face, repeatedly losing her grip as she tries to focus on the thing in front of us. I don't know how she can even have the presence of mind to do that. My thoughts are a blur, as my mind does its best to process what I'm seeing. It's like the forest itself has come to life, like the whole mass of the tree just uprooted themselves from the ground to form something that can't possibly exist. Branches twist and contort into each other. One tree splits into 10. Wood rotting into decay and growing anew again, spin from the impossible red center. Two immersive horns pierce the sky, looking like lightning bolts permanently imprinted against the clouds. Every thought that I can manage to form is fleeting. Every rational part of me tells me that what I'm seeing shouldn't exist. This isn't possible. Yet here I am, undeniable. All I can do is stare, the red glowing brightly, burning my eyes, like it's staring right back at me. The beast shuffles forward, its feet obscured by the forest below. With each movement, there's another massive echo. Trees crackle and snap beneath its immense weight like twigs, flattened to do nothing and buried underneath the snow. Whoa, that's so cool. There's something actually out here. Okay guys, I'm gonna end this episode of Heart of the Woods right here. I'm actually glad we kind of encountered our first monster. I really didn't think it was gonna be like a thing, like a beast. It could be like a forest god, I guess. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you think, and be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button so you know when I upload the next episode of Heart of the Woods. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! This is horrible. Ah! No! Not you! Not you! Not you! Stop! And sometimes that brings people together in a not so cute way. Here are 6 terribly awkward romances in video games. Number 6. Cole and Elsa.